can be a daunting process looking for the right therapist. I mean, first of all, you decide. It's such a long, daunting process deciding to go to therapy, like working against the stigmas or, all of that, and then finding somebody and then going to them and realizing you don't click with them. It is quite like there's so many places where you could just be like, I'm done. Like, I'm not, this is clearly not for me. But that's not the case. It doesn't mean therapy is not for you. It just means that you haven't found the right therapist. And I know I went through three therapists till I found my therapist.
Hi everyone, welcome to Chalchitra Talks. मेरा नाम वाणी है, and in this episode I had the opportunity to sit down with Kaneez Surka. She's a stand-up comedian, she's an improv artist, and you must have seen her in Ladies Up, Comedy Premier League, and so much more. If you're new to the channel, we're about to hit 100k subscribers, so do share this video and subscribe to Chalchitra Talks. And without wasting further time, let's just jump right in. Hi Kaneez, welcome to Chalchitra Talks.
Thank you so much for having me, Vani.
I want to jump right in and I want to start with travel recommendations because you have been traveling recently.
So I know I'm from South Africa, but my parents recently moved to Cape Town, and I've decided that that is the most beautiful city in the world. I think it's also like objectively rated as one of the most beautiful cities in the world. But I highly recommend Cape Town. Like South Africa is like it's inexpensive. It's not very expensive to travel around, and Cape Town is it's got the ocean, it's got the mountain. It's a very active city. So like when you go there, you feel like doing things.
So right now you're in New York and I remember you were in Cape Town some time ago.
Yes,
How
yes.
often are you in Cape Town usually?
So like I said, my parents just moved there last year from another place in South Africa. So Cape Town, I didn't used to go there that often, but now, or at least actually that's not true. Like I would go there because my brother lived there. But so like at least once a year I'd be in Cape Town. And
What is your relationship with traveling in general?
you know that it's so funny because honestly I used to travel, and then when I started comedy I realized I actually haven't traveled for fun in almost 12 years. I've traveled, but it's always been for work. It's been for an improv festival, or coming to learn improv, or doing stand up, or a stand up festival. So I've been to a lot of places, but I realized it's always like for work.
Do you have any other recommendations in terms of places where you would want people to visit at least once in their entire lifetime?
When I did travel 12 years ago, I went to Spain, and I think that place is such a gorgeous country. And like one of the places called Granada, that was my favorite place. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Granada? No, now I'm just being racist. I'm sorry. It was like the small city near Sevilla, and it was not city, but the small town. With just this old architecture. I just remember walking around, and I remember walking past a flamenco school and thinking, what if I just moved here for 1 year just to learn flamenco? Like, what if I did that? And I remember just like wanting to like be there longer and like just immerse in that culture.
Are
I
you
remember, I remember
a person or a mountain person? From what I'm guessing, it comes across as you're a beach person, but
that's why I love Cape Town, because I'm a bit of both. And like in Cape Town, one morning you can go climb up a mountain, and then the next morning you can go swim in the ocean, and they're literally next to each other. Yeah, I definitely like being drier though. I don't like being wet. So
when Rahul Subramanian was on the channel, so he actually recommended us a product which was a massager of sorts. Like you can massage your back
oh,
or your arm. You don't even need anybody's help. Do you have
that's
any
cool.
favorite products that are your go-tos?
I like little gadget and trinky things, but I'm also like trying to be really good about not buying crap.
Would you say you're a hoarder?
I'm not a hoarder, but I do end up I'm trying to be like not minimalist, but I'm trying not to like gather. And like now I've moved to New York and I moved to a new place. I'm like, don't buy anything unnecessary. Like just buy everything you need. But then I do like I like kitchen gadgets, like scissors for herbs. Who needs that? Or like a banana cutter. Who needs a banana cutter?
You know what? I've been eyeing a cutter myself. My mother used to buy all these little kitchen gadgets when I was growing
Yes.
up. I wouldn't understand why. But as you adult, you realize they are,
Oh, they're useful.
it melts your heart sometimes.
I do recommend a good frying pan in life. I remember like my friend told me like if you're gonna spend money on things like get a good frying pan because like you're eating from that and get good bed sheets in life because a lot of people don't like think about their bedding, and if you think about it, we spend one third of our lives there.
That's actually something
Maybe.
to think about.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think about that till my friend pointed out, and he's like, "You spent one third of your life there." I was like, "Oh, you're right. I didn't even."
And what has your relationship been with reading?
I'm not an avid reader. I always wish I was. I really wish I was a reader because it just people like I love people who read. Like I love it when I meet someone and they're like they read. I'm like, you're so cool. Um, but I actually read a lot. I do read, but I only buy and I only read children's books. Can I show you like
Yes, please.
children's books and like comic strips, certain comic strips? Recently, I got my family to send me some stuff from my Mumbai house because like I want some of my things here. And then they sent me, and I realized all the books that I have are just like children's books.
Uh, this is
Oh,
nice.
you sit comfortably, yeah. And also like Calvin and Hobbes, I'm huge on. This is like Mandela Madiba's favorite story, children's stories, Nelson Mandela's favorite children's stories. I have a lot of Dr. Seuss books. What I like about children's stories, and then like even The Giving Tree is my favorite book. I don't have it here, but
Yeah.
I think they really, I love them. I love how simple the message comes across. Like
Mm.
how simply a really nice message is put across in a book. And like I'm just like, oh, this is a nice reminder. Like it'll remind me, and I can read it in 2 minutes, and it'll remind me to, just whatever the message is from the book. And they're always usually really nice morals and sweet, positive, uplifting morals, usually in a children's book.
I love children's books myself. And there is one book that I discovered, I think, a couple of years ago. It's called The Day Crayons Quit.
It's Oliver Jeffers, right?
Yes, yes. And it's about
Yes,
the crayons of a child resigning from duty. And I love it. Absolutely.
exactly. No, I also have this really nice book about a relationship between a duck and death.
Wow.
And it's just like, the friendship that duck and death sort of develop. And it just explains death so beautifully. I found it randomly in a store in Cape Town, actually.
My friends actually gifted me a children's book on birthday. It's called The Snail with the Right Heart and it's by Maria Popova. If you like children's books, you would actually like her blogs because they are summaries of books, or she just talks about artists. And
Okay.
the book is called Snail with the Right Heart because the organs of the snails are reversed, inversed. I'm not sure what the right
Yeah.
word would be.
No, no,
So
but they're on the outside?
yeah, the position is changed from left to right,
Oh,
and
got it.
yeah.
Okay.
And it talks about how some people can be unique. So this snail was unique, and it took scientists so many years to find its partner. And so it actually talks about how certain some of us are unique, and it touches about homosexuality and people
Yes.
who are different from us, and it touches it in such a beautiful way. And
Yes.
that's something I really love about children's books.
Yeah, like I said, because they're obviously usually so short, like I can read them in like literally 2 minutes before leaving my house. Every morning I'll read one of these over and over again, just a reminder that people are unique or that, we are special.
The thing that I feel with children's books is it also helps you slow down.
And that's why during the lockdown, I started Kaneez bedtime story with Kaneez Masi because I did that during the lockdown very briefly. But I had this collection of children's stories, like books, and I was like, I'm going to read. So I used to do lives on Instagram where I'd read a bedtime story. Like I'd just be like, guys, today we're going to read Duck, Death, and the Tulip by Wolf Albrecht. For a while now, Duck had had a feeling. Who are you? What are you up to? Creeping along behind me. Good, said Death. You finally noticed me. I am Death.
That's wonderful. I hope you restart that live stream because I would
Yeah,
love to
right.
tune in as a viewer.
I should, because I used to do like it
Yes.
was during the pandemic. It was alive at like 11 o'clock at night before people were going to bed.
But I'm pretty sure everyone would have loved it. What about TV shows? What is your relationship with TV shows and movies in general?
I mean, I used to watch TV and TV shows as like for escapism or whatever, just for entertainment. But now I realize like I'll watch something, and because I've been in this industry, because I'm in the entertainment industry, because we're shooting so much stuff, we're doing sketches and all of this stuff over the years. My brain like can't switch off from noticing discontinuity. I was like, oh, that edit, or that, oh, that was such a good edit, or like I'm like looking, like my brain can't switch off from all the technical aspects of how something is being made. But obviously, I still watch stuff. But like my brain definitely goes and like, oh, that callback. They forgot about that callback. Oh, that didn't match. Oh, that was such a good edit. Or, oh, that was so smart that they brought back that thing from episode two.
What was the last TV show that you saw which made you go like, oh my God, that edit was wonderful?
I was rewatching The Office when I was in South Africa. And I was like, what a great, like, of course, there's problems in a lot of old shows. Like, again, also that's something that, like, I noticed now when you're watching old shows and like when they're like, there's problematic jokes or offensive jokes, not offensive, but problematic. Uh, my body is like, whoa, that's not how we think anymore. Like, oh, we can't say that anymore. Like, but I think The Office was, I recently was rewatching it and I was like, this is a really well done show. Really funny, like jokes, really funny, good writing. I've always loved the mockumentary style treatment to a show.
Right.
And I thought they did, no, I thought Office did it the best compared to even Parks and Recreation, even Modern Family. I feel like I love the American Office,
Nice.
I
And
guess.
how
Yeah.
about movies?
I watch a lot of children's movies. Wait, what is this relationship with me and children's stuff?
I think that's absolutely like it took me time to meet people who actually appreciated me reading children's books and getting okay with the fact that I love watching children's movies and books.
Yes, yes. Just that warm, fuzzy feeling that a lot of children's material makes me feel. I love it, And again, there's messages there just given so beautifully. I think one of my favorite movies is Coco, Disney and Pixar's Coco. Have you seen it?
I think so.
It's beautiful. Again, beautifully explaining like the idea of death and the afterlife and family. So I loved Coco, and I watched it with my dad. I watched it with my brother, with my nieces. I watched it with so many different family members. And Kanto was recently another one that I really enjoyed.
I loved Encanto.
I loved Encanto, Inside Out. I recently watched, not recently, but like last year I watched Soul, and I loved that because I was moving to New York, and the country is based in New York, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go there.
What will your top three recommendations be to people who want to venture into watching children's movies?
One of my favorites is Monsters Inc. I would highly recommend Monsters Inc. Up is also great, so I would recommend Monsters Inc., Coco, Inside Out.
You spoke about Inside Out, and now I want to talk about the thing that I've been dying to talk about ever since you said that you love recommending therapists.
Yes,
So
yes,
I have
yes.
started going to a therapist very recently. I mean, I started
Really?
seeing a therapist, I think sometime last year, but recently I switched therapists. And it was
Okay.
only in our Chalchitra town hall where we sit with godfathers, etc., etc. And I realized, oh, you can actually pause and, you can ask your therapist to take the session the way you want to. You don't always have to sit according to them and everything. So it was
Right,
very new
right.
for me. What would your recommendations be for somebody who's just seeking out therapy and or is in the initial stage of it or is very skeptical
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah, it can be a daunting process looking for the right therapist. I mean, first of all, you decide, it's such a long, daunting process deciding to go to therapy, like working against the stigmas or, all of that, and then finding somebody and then going to them and realizing you don't click with them. It is quite like there's so many places where you could just be like, I'm done. Like, I'm not, this is clearly not for me. But that's not the case. It doesn't mean therapy is not for you. It just means that you haven't found the right therapist. And I know I went through three therapists till I found my therapist. And in the middle, I did give up because I went to one therapist and I was like, okay, let me try. I don't think this person, and I went for like two sessions, but I could immediately tell she wasn't, I don't know, I didn't feel heard by her. And maybe I was wrong. Like, apparently, you're supposed to give someone at least 4 to 5 sessions to understand how they are,
Mm.
you know, how they work. But and then after the second one, I was like, nope, okay, therapy is not for me. But then 5 months later, I went back again, um, and I found somebody. And then I was sitting with her with my arms crossed like this, and she was telling me, and I was like, I know everything she's saying. This is a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And then I left her again. And then I went another 5 months. I went back and I was like, okay, one second. I think I need help. I don't think I know everything. But yeah, like obviously there's no, like, I'm glad that we get, like everyone, I feel like a lot of people are like doing therapy now, which is so great. Like, it's just, you just get an objective view about your life. That's all that it is. Like, it's just helpful. It's not like there's something wrong with you. It's not like you're messed up. It's just, like I always say, like therapy for me is like a course on Kaneez's mind, a 101 into Kaneez's mind. I was like, I just get to understand how my brain, how I work, how I function. That's it. I didn't go there with the intention of fixing myself. I was like, I want to understand how I work, get some tools, and then move on with life and just have a better way of dealing, have tools to better deal with situations in life. That's it. It's not, oh, I'm so messed up, I need help, like I am not strong enough to deal with stuff on my own. None of that. It's just, hey, do you have any tools? Yeah, we've got a hammer and we've got nails. And I'm like, great, now I can hang a picture.
Might be getting the TV show wrong, but we were discussing this the other day, and there is a TV show where a gangster goes to his therapist, and I think it's Soprano. Ugh,
Sopranos?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes to his therapist, and then his therapist goes to her therapist, and the cycle just continues. I just think it's healthy, and I think it's one of the best investments you can make because you went out to the right person, and then you kind of get direction. The rant
Yeah.
becomes, it gets direction, and it just helps eventually.
Good bedding and therapy, guys.
Good
No, but
bedding.
and also like, if you don't find the right person, keep trying. If you have the resources and you have if you can, then you know, don't give up when you go through that patch.
There's also this book that I had for years because I just buy books and I end up not reading all of them.
Same.
And quite recently, somebody came to my place because I moved recently, and the person just came to help me. And they discovered the book that I had been um, holding on to for about 4 years now, and they started reading it, and they told me, "Oh my God, can I borrow this?" Because I think it's the best book I've ever read about emotional intelligence. It was School of Life, and they also have a
Oh,
YouTube channel. And
yes.
I was like, "Oh yeah, why not?" And when I actually read a few pieces from the book, it was actually eye-opening. Whether you talk about trauma or self or yourself at work,
Yeah.
emotions, family, and everything. And I started reading that book, and since then I've been recommending it to everyone I come
Oh
across.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've watched some of their videos. I think they have a video about breakup, like what happens after a breakup. And I remember watching that recently. I was like, oh, this video is really helping me understand what I'm going through. I just want to also have another recommendation that I recently found, which has really helped. Now I'll be okay. So it's really helped with my mental health in terms of my anxiety more than anything else. And I found I highly recommend working out. I'm not saying this like, oh, you should work out. Like, because I've moved 2 cities in the last 6 months, it's been a very stressful time leaving. I moved my cats to South Africa because my parents have adopted Bamboo and Monkeys, my 2 cats, and then leaving them. It's really hard leaving people all the time, and it's stressful moving to a new city and setting up again. But I know that one thing that has kept me just sane, not sane, that's not the right word, but something that's really just kept me a little more grounded has been my workouts. And I just don't miss those because as soon as I miss it, I can just tell my anxiety level just goes up automatically.
So I'll quickly come to social media platforms.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, okay, we really got off
What's your
topic.
favorite social media platform?
What's my favorite social media platform?
Your Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or
Instagram.
do you have any favorite influencers or favorite people that you follow their handles actually?
So
I
I found this.
may I? I'm so sorry, I'm cutting you off. I had a recommendation for you. I do not know if you know of it already. It's called Women at Leisure. It's an Instagram handle,
Oh.
and it covers just women relaxing. So
Oh,
they'll be chilling, sipping coffee or wine against a window on the beach, and it just has
oh
the
my
image of women
God.
at
Can
leisure.
I show you something? There's this artist named Richard Kashlekar.
Yes.
Kashlekar. Richard Kashlekar. And I bought these paintings from her. Can I just show them to you? Because when you say woman, I got these I had to get them framed, but I got just woman sort of just
Yeah.
lying around, just because I was like, I really want to put this up and be reminded to just, take it easy.
And the Instagram handle is actually like this, but with actual people. There are no
Actual
pictures,
people.
but like actual women at leisure, just
I'm gonna check
relaxing.
that out.
Yes.
100%. I'm gonna check that out. You should definitely do you know the awkward Yeti?
Oh, yes, yes.
I love the awkward Yeti. Again, little cartoons about the relationship between heart and the brain and other body parts. So relatable, so relatable. And then there's another I recently found because I don't like again, when I'm on social media, it's not like I'm there to enjoy the content. I'm more like, what are people making? What are the trends? What's happening? Like I'm thinking of it always as work. And so when I find every now and then I'll find some random page and I'll be like, oh, like I feel like a fan. Like I also really like like Other Warrior and Aishwarya Subramaniam, and I really like her page. She really there's a lot of times I'm just going through her and she'll make me think about something. Like I'll stop and I'll be like, oh, I didn't see it from that perspective. And I love that. I'm not on YouTube as much. Like I know a lot of people like go on YouTube and watch a lot of things. I listen to a lot of music off of YouTube.
That
Um,
will be my next question. What is
yeah. So
music and what's your platform to go to listen to music?
so like when I'm in my house, I'll put YouTube on. Otherwise, when I'm outside, Apple Music. My music that I go to, like in the home, I really like sort of like blues and jazz, but like old night from like Ella Fitzgerald and Billie Holiday and Louis Armstrong, like that. I love that sound in the background. I didn't realize that I liked pop, but recently I've been listening to a lot of pop, and I was like, I actually like this music. So I didn't think I would.
Do you have any
Um,
recommendations in terms of pop then? The ones that you've discovered recently?
there's a really nice song by Taylor Swift.
I really like Taylor Swift, and I've been embarrassed of accepting that fact for
Yeah,
my life. Now
but
I'm
I've been listening.
very open about it.
Yeah, there's one song like that song. I'm never, ever, ever getting back together. And I was like, I really like this song. It feels really nice to sing along to it.
I was down with COVID in January, and that's when I
I'm
spent
sorry.
half of my time listening to Taylor Swift and the other
Yeah.
half following that reel where they drop pics, like one circle, one big circle, and this is all I was doing when I was down with
Oh
COVID.
wow.
There
Okay,
was
I
this
don't know what's it.
drew pics, and the process was like one circle, one
Oh,
big circle.
cool.
I'll just send
So
it to
cute.
you. But yeah,
So
I
cute.
was obsessed with these two things, and Taylor Swift was the best discovery during the lockdown.
Taylor Swift, and then I listened to like Maroon 5. My God, I'm so bad at names. I really should have done my research before coming here. You were like, just
Not
make sure you have a list of recommendations. And I'm like, and the thing with like a lot of with social media and like all these apps is just, I won't look at names. I'm just listening to music. And I
right.
won't, it's not like, back in the days where you had to go to the shop, find the CD, get the name of the artist, find the CD, find the book, or find the movie. Like now you're just scrolling through stuff, and I don't pick up the name all the time.
Yeah.
I'm
I
also,
discovered
but
this
yeah,
song. It's called I Don't Have Fucks to Give. It's by Thomas Benjamin. And it
yeah,
just talks about how there are so many things in the world where you need to give fucks, but I just don't have any fucks
I
left.
just don't have it. That's it.
I went to go fuck shopping, but now I'm fucking dead. So it's actually a nice
That's
song.
Peace Killer, yeah, that's a really cool song. I watched the show, which I love, Rick and Morty. I love that. I love the animation Rick and Morty. And in one of the episodes, I found a song on the episodes and it's become one of my favorite songs. And it's called I'm the Antichrist to You. It's by Kishi Bashi. Beautiful song, very far from pop. But you should listen to that song. And also this guy named Hayden Calnin, Calnin, and I love his music as well. Again, not really big, but I found it during like one of the algorithm recommendation. Vance Joy is really good, and REM has been my favorite since I was 12 years old.
I think my dog is very excited to hear that.
Yeah, REM. He also likes it. He also recommends it.
But do you also listen to podcasts?
So that's the thing, where I messaged you, I said, do I have to prepare anything? You're like, no, just podcast recommendations. I was like, I don't actually listen to any podcasts.
Which is okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never got into. I've tried, but my brain just switches off for some reason. I don't know. Like
I
audiobooks.
I zone out during audiobooks, and for
Yeah.
podcasts, I really have to focus only on listening to them. I can't multitask.
I also realized I'm actually a visual person. I mean, like one of my ways of understanding things is by seeing, by having visual images of something. So I think listening to stuff is a little harder for me. Or then I need to picture it while it's happening, and that's how I connect with something. Is I will make a picture of it.
And what is your relationship with dancing? We've covered music, but I have a feeling, and I think I've seen a couple of videos of you where you get very excited. I think I saw the video of you trying to teach Tanmay dancing something. I can't,
So yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We were doing like a fake Sangeet practice. One, two, three, four, na 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 na. We were so bored during the pandemic. I grew up doing, like, my mom always wanted to dance and she didn't have the opportunity, so she sent me to ballet, Bharatanatyam, high energy. Like I did so many different kinds of dances growing up. I didn't excel at any of them, but I just did many different types. But I've actually been struggling lately to dance, unironically. I'll go to the dance and I'll be like, oh, I'm dancing. This is so dumb. And I was like, but I can't dance for real. Like, I struggle to genuinely move my body to music without being so conscious that I'm moving my body to music. I don't know what's happened. I used to be able to dance until like 5 years ago. And now in the last 5 years, I cannot dance and I don't know what happened. And I've tried my best to, like, in Cape Town, my comedian friend, he was like, all right, he took me to the beach where they put headphones on. It's called like a surprise sunset. So you get headphones and then everyone just dances to the music that is playing, but like you're on your own essentially, but like with people, but you can also just go off on your own, like, but no one's watching, no one's judging. It's nothing like that. You can just really do your own thing. And I was struggling to dance. And at the end, my friend, he was taking videos and pictures. I was like, man, I really, he was like, how was that? I was like, I really struggled. He was like, yeah, I could tell from the photographs I was taking in the videos.
My entire life, I was very conscious of dancing. I think I've opened up only recently in the past 1 year. That I mean, I think I started dancing after a friend's wedding. That's it. Otherwise, I would genuinely struggle with dancing in public, at least.
And mine's the opposite. I was very comfortable dancing my whole life until like 5 years ago. So that's weird. The opposite happened to us. Like, but I love dance. Like, I'll watch So You Think You Can Dance. I'll watch all these dance shows because I love watching people be able to move their bodies sometimes.
Favorite songs or steps from any videos from Bollywood, Hollywood? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
you really, really like.
I just have really good attached. I have really good memories attached to Kacharare from, like, I just moved to India when that movie came out, and so I remember like it just being like part of, like, such a big part of like the beginning journey of India for me. So just all like that's and also BD BD
Yes.
Jalele.
Jalele.
BD Jalele. That. I remember those two steps. And then Shakira's These Hips Don't Lie.
Do you also have any favorite stand-ups? Because I remember asking a lot of people, telling them that, hey, I'm going to have a conversation with Kaneez. What do you want me to ask? And they were like, hey, please ask the favorite questions.
Oh my God, I've been revealing so many secrets. So I don't actually watch a lot of stand-up comedy. There's a show called Middle Fitch and Shorts on Netflix. It's an improv show, and they've done such a brilliant job. Because sometimes capturing improv is not easy because it's not as tight as stand. Like, you can make stand up really tight, but like watching like improv can sometimes get a little bit all over the place if it's not done well. But these guys have done such a good job, and you should I really highly recommend it. It's on Netflix. One of the best improv shows. And then obviously Whose Line. It's everyone's favorite. But Whose Line is also, they've done a really good job of capturing improv. I also really enjoyed the Comic Stan episode, the improv episode on Comic Stan. Like, I thought everyone did such a good job. I recently watched Ali Wong's special and I loved it. I obviously loved Hannah Gatsby's. Like, I thought that was, for me, it felt like, oh, stand-up can be more than just the very male version of formulaic set up punchline. Like, now we can start telling stories and we can bring different emotions into our stand-up sets. And a lot of people were like, yeah, but then it's not real stand-up. I'm like, you know, like this is how I feel like as women, stand up such a male, it was created by men and performed by men for so long. I feel like now that there's more females coming into it, it's going to take a different form. We're going to bring a different flavor and energy to stand-up comedy. And I feel like Hannah Gatsby did that with her special. In fact, that was one of the doors that opened for, at least for me. I was like, all right, I can explore this art form in in different ways. I really like Alingon Mitra. He's a Lingon Mitra I find really funny. I go back to his videos all the time. And there's also Zarna Garg. Again, these are just like comedians here in America that I find really funny.
How do you see short form content versus long form content? And we were having this conversation a few days ago on the channel as well,
Yeah.
how because of short form content, people have stopped giving a lot of attention to narratives. Do you think it is also giving a scope for it's also giving a chance to a lot of people to kind of just explore storytelling?
Sure. Yeah. I don't think you can call any of the storytelling. Like if you're talking about 30-second reels, there's no story being told. It's just like I haven't seen any reels where I was like, oh, that was like that didn't feel like they're not stories. They're just capturing, which is content. It's we're capturing something funny or capturing like it's a one funny thought that we're making into a 30. They're 30 seconds, guys. It's ridiculous how short it went from like 1 minute to 30 seconds now. Like that's how long content is on Instagram. Even these jokes, like it'll be like one joke and one laughter, and that's the whole video, for
Yeah.
Instagram stand up. So yeah, while I love the democratic process of social media, where like no, there's no gatekeepers and no one gets to decide if you're good enough and if you're good enough. I love that it's democratic and really like you put out whatever and whoever everyone likes, that person becomes famous, which is great. I love that process so much better than executives or gatekeepers deciding who's good and who's bad. I also think like there's so much crap out there. Like um
Yeah.
which is also fine, I guess. I would take the democracy over the amount of crap there is. Like I'm like, that's cool, that's it's democratic. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's stories being told.
There's this question that we ask a lot of guests on the show, like, what is your favorite failure?
My favorite failure was recently in Cape Town. I was hosting a show at a bar. No one had paid to come watch. We forced people from the bar to come sit in the front. And I was hosting. There was the guy I liked was at the show, and that always like, I hate it when people I like come watch me. Like that always just throws me off. There were these two drunk women who were heckling me, and not just me, but they were just heckling the whole room. They were just drunk, and I didn't know how to handle them. I just didn't have anything in my arsenal to handle them. Like I was like, all these years of doing stand-up, I had nothing. At one point, like during, like when I was not on stage, when the other comedian was on stage and she was like shouting out, I like literally went and sat next to her and I held her hand and I said, please keep quiet. And she's like, no, I think I'm making the show more fun. I was like, you're not. You're distracting everybody. Eventually, she got kicked out, but like I just didn't know how to handle the situation. It was such a mess. It was such a mess, and it does fall on the host because the host is supposed to, you know, bring the room together and make it
Right.
comfortable for the other comedians to perform. And I just failed so badly as a host. That was my most recent failure, and also I was like, this was a good reminder that you are not all that in a bag of chips, that you have so much more work to do to get good.
I also want to jump to your vlogs now because I love watching them. And
No.
do you like making vlogs? Do you like the spontaneity that it brings, or do you like them structured, or do you do them structured?
I make them more structured. They're not like I'll think of a story idea. I'll be like, we'll start with this, we'll do this, and we'll end. I think of my beginning, middle, and end.
Nice.
And that just helps me in terms of when I'm shooting, when I'm editing. I think my brain also just likes like things like that. Otherwise, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to put all this information together. I do, but I haven't made vlogs in really long. I'll be honest with you, like I've just haven't made content in a really long time. I'm just not feeling it right now. I think I'm also just maybe in a new city, and I want to like focus on my stand up and like writing and performing live. And I think I'm allowed to maybe take
Yes,
some
of
time
course.
off and explore something new in a new place.
There's this book called Tools of Titans. It's by Tim Ferriss. He's a podcaster. He's collected the best of episodes that he's had in a book and compiled the
Oh,
best parts
cool.
of those podcasts. And it's called Tools of Titans. And he interviewed, I do not remember who it was, but there was a question: what's your definition of success? And this person he was interviewing said that at this point, I think of my grandmother because her entire life, she just danced. And I think you're successful when you can do most of the things that you do are the things that you like, and you
Yeah,
can leave out on things that you do not really like. And I think
correct.
since then that has been like, oh, this is something I wanted to do, be able to do more things that I genuinely feel happy doing.
Yes. And I understand like you have to do hygiene work and we do live in the world of social media. And doing social media will help me build my live audience and all of that. But yeah, right now I feel like doing my art.
The author I was telling you about, the author of Snail with the Right Heart, she has a blog as
Yes.
well. And she talks about having your pockets of stillness. So go around building your pockets of stillness wherever you go. And the moment things get tough, you can turn to any of the pockets, take out what you like, and that will really calm you down. And I just wanted to know, what are your pockets of stillness that that you turn to when things are perhaps getting a little tough for you?
Children's movies and books, 100%, 100%. A walk with my music, a walk helps me a lot. And not just with but specifically with my music. Because if it's not my music, then the sounds of the city will overwhelm me. And my home. That's one thing I always do when I wherever I go, I always build a sanctuary because I need to be able to leave the world and come back to my home. So like a lot of times I'll spend a lot of time, energy, and money even like on a home because I'm like that's the one place that I need to come back to. So I spend a lot of like resources on my homes. Always, I've always done this.
You also have a ukulele in the background. Do you also know how to
I,
play the uke?
I know like three chords, and then I sing. But let's say I have and I just improvise random crap. So I really enjoy playing my ukulele as well. Like I'll make up songs. Um, yeah, but you can't hear it on Zoom. Even if I play it, you'll be able to hear it.
I have been trying to learn how to play the instrument, and I'm really, really bad at it.
Same, but it's actually very comforting. I recommend, sorry, if anything else, like another recommendation is find a musical instrument. It doesn't matter if you can't play it, but like making music sometimes is really like, it's really therapeutic. Like when even if you're trying to figure it out, and sometimes you like hit like two chords together and it sounds beautiful, and you're like, whoa, I created that. Yay.
Yeah.
It feels nice.
How far are you into learning the uke?
I've had this for like nine, I think I no like 6, 7 years, and I know like for every but now I know like five chords. I know like C and G and F and I think D or B, and then A sharp. I love how you're like, Kaneez, please come on this recommendation show, and then I know the names of nothing. I'm like, oh, there's this one song. This it's like A. I think this is A. Like I have like no, I know nothing.
No,
What a
but this
waste of everyone's
is
time.
absolutely wonderful. It was so nice to have you also. It
You're
was so nice
so
to have you on the channel.
Thank you so much, Anwar. You're so lovely talking to you. You're such a great host. It's so easy to talk to, and I really appreciate that. Guys, please subscribe to Chalchitra Talks for more really awesome interviews. Even if this one was like you're like, Kaneez, what are you saying? You're not making any sense. There are a lot of other videos with incredible people, so please go check them out.